Good morning, everybody. It's Therese Auliffe here again from Lighting the Way, and it's wonderful really to have the time and the opportunity to deliver some information on our energy system, our chakras, our wheels of energy. And I know that many of you have joined me over the last 6 weeks now. And today we're going to work on the 6th chakra, which is our brow chakra, our third eye chakra, or Ajna. A-J-N-A. So that's our third eye. So it's the brow, so it's in the brow. So just between your eyebrows and just slightly above them. That's where your third eye is. So your third eye is your inner knowing, really. It's your connection to the oneness of all that is. It's your connection to yourself. So it's like your eye that's turned in. It's your inner eye. It's your knowing. So it's the seat of our intuition. And that's sometimes how we understand things and we don't know how we got the information through. It's because our third eye is open and serving us well. So our third eye, like any other energy center in our body, and we talked about, the divine intelligence of the energy organizing itself into chakras and meridians before it goes into all the different organs. And we realize that we are part of all of life and we are energy just like everything else in the ecosystem. And we started with the base chakra, so just a quick run through, and all of these videos are up on my Lighting the Way page. So we started with the base chakra, and fundamentally that was about grounding and security and feeling strong and nurtured and safe. And that's the wheel that is governed by the colour red and faces down to the earth. And that's the only one that faces right down to the earth. So then we move to the sacral or sacral chakra. And remember we said that was below the belly button, and that really is where our creativity and our sexuality is really stored. So any of our addictions and a lot of the shadow that we wouldn't even be aware of within us is held here. But today we're going to work with the shadow as well, to clear the shadow, to bring it to the conscious. So all of the chakras obviously are interdependent, so they all work on their own, but they all work with all of the other energy centers. And then we talked about the solar plexus. Remember, we put the finger in the belly button and where we landed here, this is where our solar plexus is. And we said, that was the sunshine yellow. So the orange was for the sacral, the red was for the base, and then we came to the sunshine yellow. And that was really about taking back our power and allowing ourselves to understand our innate truth of the magnificent being that we are. And again, there is a full video up here on Lighting the Way, so all you have to do is pop back in and look at the videos. And then we went to the heart, and remember Rosanna Hatha, unstuck, so it wasn't we feeling stuck in life, just to unstuck ourselves and to open up our heart energy. And it's also the connector, remember, between the material world and the more light divine world that we have on the higher plane of energy. So it's the connector. So if the heart isn't fully open, it's very difficult for us to connect the two, because we do need to have the higher vibration of energy, but we also need to have that solid anchor, so the lower vibrations for the material world that we live in, and we do live on a physical plane. So it's really important that we stay grounded, but that we bring the higher realm of energies through us and bring them with us through the plane. So that was the heart. And then we came to the throat. And remember, the throat was all about expression. It was all about release, and it was all about sound. So it was hearing and speaking and everything creative. And again, there's a full video up on that. But just if there's anybody new, so that I don't lose you completely with this video, today then we're working with the 6th chakra. So that's the brow chakra, the third eye chakra, the Ajna point, okay? And that really is where we meet complete consciousness. Now I was looking for the color for this, because the color is indigo, and indigo is actually quite a difficult color to see, because, but when I say see, to find really, because we have lots and lots and lots of shades of purple, but it's kind of between purple and navy blue. So this is actually indigo. I took out about 4 tops this morning, and you know, I had to ask my intuition which is the best, and there's an indigo flower on this. So again, I'm going to ask you, one of the easy ways to work with, you know, any of the chakras is to bring in the color that's associated with it. So I just had a root around, and of course amethyst. Now this amethyst is quite pale. I did bring it home from the Canary Islands one time, and of course I have my beautiful little angel. So amethyst is one of the crystals for the third eye. There are many. Moonstone is actually really good for the third eye as well. So I've put moonstone pendulum, and that's my moonstone ring that generally fits this finger, but I broke my wrist in the end of November, and I was really surprised when I went to put this on a few weeks ago. It didn't fit, and this morning I tried it again and it's still too tight. So there's still a little bit of swelling in my hand, but it's on its way out. It's fine. So I was looking for bits and pieces. So I had this little butterfly in the bathroom. That was indigo. Actually, my hair conditioner was indigo. My bottle of spray is indigo. Yeah, it's quite much indigo. So this is my angelic mist that I make. It's absolutely gorgeous. I sprayed it around the room. So then I was looking at my Course in Miracle. It's navy, but I could make it into indigo. It's kind of between navy and purple, so it is indigo really. But there are variations in shades. And then I was looking at my bookshelf, and you know, that's Mary Queen of Angels, and there's indigo in that colour. So basically anything. There's one of my chakra stones, and it's indigo. It's quite pale actually, but you see it's a crystal, so crystals will have their own variations of shade, you know, and when they're being sold they will use the stone that's nearest to it. So indigo is the colour. I have so many notes, but I won't be reading from it. I'll just have a flick here and there. So our third eye is about our inner knowing. It's about our intuition. It really is our inner compass. So it is what really guides us through life, because we can get stuck in the material world and feel so out of balance. But intuitively, we know that something is wrong, and we may need to steer ourselves in a different direction. And by balancing our third eye, remember the chakra that's closest to each chakra is going to be very affected. So by balancing our third eye, we're going to really help to balance the throat as well, and then the throat will help to balance the heart. So it's like a domino effect. So I'll give you pointers as to when you would think you would understand that it's out of balance, how to bring it back into balance, and when you know that it's actually in balance and working quite well for you. So little tips. I am actually propelled into creating proper training on the chakras and getting a new website created at the moment as we speak. I have somebody working on it for me, and I'm working on the content. But I am going to be putting on some online courses through Zoom, and the angels are actually telling me that we really need to balance our energy field, because once we align, we can align with everything. So this really is like indigo is the color, but if you listen to any of the gurus that talk about the chakras in Sanskrit, they will talk about the whole spectrum of color being here. So it's like the oneness, it's the everythingness, you know, so it's everything really. So if you really think about the brow chakra, it's absolutely vital to have the brow chakra working well. Even this week alone, you know, I had somebody saying to me, I can't sleep, you know, every night I just wake up and I go to bed, go to sleep for a few hours, and I'm restless and I'm this and I'm that. The chances are, I just said, you know, wait until Friday and I'll explain it to you. But first I give, you know, the common sense things like unplug before you go to bed. Try to have an hour, at least 2 hours if possible, so your brain isn't stimulated. Obviously you don't have lights on in the room. Close the window, cool the room down before you go in, close the window. Take a hot milky drink before you go to bed. You know, all the regular things. But balancing the third eye is something that will, they have to be done anyway, but balancing the third eye will really help us to be stable and balanced within ourselves. And sleep is one of the things that's very much affected by the third eye being out of balance. So, I mean, there's so much information for us really, and we need to tune into ourselves. So meditation obviously is absolutely brilliant for the third eye. Visualizations, because that's our creative flair. And you know, we can visualize anything, and really we're using our intuition, we're using our imagination, you know, and it's so important for us to be able to do that, imagine. So you know, at the moment it's imperative that we imagine a world where, you know, people are genuinely aware, and you know, to correct what has gone wrong within the planet, we really need to imagine a beautiful world where people are responsible and conscious and healthy. I have a little video created, it's only 14 minutes or something. I did it on Sunday when I got a real push in the back to go and do a video. I even didn't go for my daily walk with the dogs, so that I could sit in quiet and bring in what was needed. So that's also up on my page. Now let me continue. Associated with the colour indigo, so the pineal gland would be very much influenced by this as well. The pituitary and the throat, they'd all be very much influenced by this chakra. So it combines logic and emotion. So you know, it actually works with both hemispheres of the brain, the right and the left. So it combines them. So you can imagine how balanced things would be if we could have the right and the left hemispheres of the brain working in harmony together to bring us that higher knowing, and to bring us the logic that's behind it, to take the steps in our life to be able to work with a balanced third eye chakra and a balanced life. Okay, so we've heard of it said as the sixth sense. So that's where that comes from, because it's the sixth main chakra that's in our body. So that's where the sixth sense. So it's our inner knowing, our gut, our intuition. It's where the clairvoyance. So we know of the four clairs. So we have clairvoyance is clear seeing, audience is clear hearing, claircognizance is clear knowing, and clairsentience is clear feeling. So this one governs the clairvoyance. So you know, like mediums and healers and many people that would be able to see beyond the normal limits of vision. So usually, you know, to see auric fields, and maybe to see spirits like loved ones and angels that have joined us. For me, I have to close my eyes to do it, and it's very easy for me to open my clairvoyance, but my human eyes need to close for my third eye to give me the information. And that's why dreaming, you know, and dream journals is really important, because, you know, our intuition is open when we're asleep, you know, our conscious mind gets out of the way, and we can make the unconscious conscious, you know, and that's really what happens when we wake up and we think, well, that was a weird dream, I don't understand it. But if you dream journal, it will be a really good way, and this is all helping to balance this and to make sense of what's going on with you yourself. Meditation, using aromatherapy oils, visualizing, obviously, you know, eating blueberries and all different purple foods would be good. Wearing purple clothes, omega-3s actually are good for balancing the third eye, and affirmations, of course, are good for balancing the third eye. And I'll give you one or two affirmations that would really help. Dream journaling, stargazing, or, you know, even being out in the brightness of the sunlight. I don't mean like staring at the sun, but it's all about light. So we need to bring the light into our body, and that's really, really good for opening up the third eye and balancing it. Tuning in consciously. Now, I did a meditation around this yesterday, and it was really, really strong that we need to, like, even if it's only 2 minutes, you know, that we just sit in a seat or lie in our bed or whatever, or out in the sun, or just sit by the bank of the river, or wherever it is, somewhere where you're alone and quiet, and your phone is at least silent, if not switched off, and you just consciously tune in. Remember, we talk to our heart, we talk to our throat, but you can talk to any energy center. You don't have to have your hand in it. For me, you know, I'm kinesthetic, and I like to be able to connect like that. And I'll just ask my third eye, what do I need to know, you know, and what's this about? And if I have a difficulty, and it's, you know, say, I don't understand it, and the information will come through to you. It may come through there and then, but it may come through when you're in your dream state in bed at night. So remember that it's really important to just honor your intuition, because your intuition is your all-knowing. It really is that deeper part of you, that divine understanding, and it will make the conscious conscious. So if this is balanced, you will have the analytical, and the creative. You'll have the left and right hemispheres of the brain working together in harmony as well. So this, I suppose every chakra is really important, but we're moving up into the higher chakras now. So, you know, they will be able to give you quantum moves in your life, but you have to start at the base. So they all need to be in harmony, okay? Because you'll just topple yourself over. If your third eye is overactive, you will just live in fantasy land, you know, and if it's underactive, you will be tired and sluggish and depressed. So it's important to have it in balance. And again, I said I would give you some tips. To keep the third eye clear, it would be important to avoid alcohol or processed foods. I'm not going to say we all have to have a vegan diet, but if we can have as much plant-based food in our diet as possible, that really, really helps the third eye. Guided imagery, you know, so guided visualizations, and if you're not able to do them yourself, that's fine, you know, just go into YouTube and there are absolutely loads of them. I have a few up there myself, but there are loads and loads and loads of people that offered beautiful guided imagery, and this can do it. After a while, you'll be able to do it without listening to somebody else. Dream journaling, watching sunrise and sunsets, color therapy, anything creative, drawing, painting, sculpting, using loads of color, okay, inviting loads of color into your home, into your workspace. It's not just indigo because it's about light, so all of those colors, it's oneness between the eyebrows. So intuition, psychic talent, self-reflection, visualization, discernment, you know, asking your inner self, is this right for me? That's really important. Or if you're about to say something to somebody, again, you know, run it by, is this going to be helpful to that person? And just discerning whether, you know, it's your ego or whether it's actually your true self that's actually offering the help or the advice or the suggestions or whatever to somebody else. So, you know, it only takes a split second to say, will this be helpful? You know, or why am I doing this? So that's all really in the third eye, because we don't even think about it, but our third eye obviously is in there all the time. So tuning into it. So it's really important to do the tuning in. Obviously, we said, you know, there are loads of crystals. We all, I suppose, know that amethyst is good. I love moonstone for the third eye. And for me, myself, I would use moonstone more than amethyst. Herkimer diamond is another one that I absolutely love. And I find that when I use it, that my psychic ability just goes like this. So I avoid it if I need to do practical stuff and I need to have my logic and to sit down and write stuff that's factual. I'd avoid wearing these kind of crystals. So these will be coming off because I do need to write stuff for my website, and it's practical stuff today. Some of the pages I can have this on, but today it's not. Now, when it's perfectly open, you know, we are very self-aware, we take personal responsibility. We are happy to do our shadow work, because when we actually start opening and looking at ourselves through the third eye, we become aware of everything. So we also become aware of shadow, and we all have shadow, and that's okay, because when it comes up for healing. So we become aware of that and we're able to work with it. What else have I written down here? So it covers the concentration, clarity, intuition, self-observation, astral traveling, lucid dreaming, witnessing, imagination. It's also the seat of our consciousness. So we become really aware of what's really happening rather than just what we're told is happening. And right now is a really good time to start tuning in and to become aware of what's really happening. It's the unifying chakra as well. You know, we talked about the heart being a unifying chakra. So is this one. So remember, it's really there to bring the two hemispheres of the brain together as well. And you know, we said this, the heart was anahata, unstuck. So we're really becoming unstuck here as well at a much higher level. So for me, I suppose all the chakras are really important, but when we get to this point, we really have to start becoming responsible, because we don't want to be floating off, you know, and not grounded with it. So we need to have our anchor. We need to have all of the energy centers spinning beautifully. It unifies, you know, the awareness, the right and left hemisphere of the brain. So it really gets rid of divided thinking, you know, so all that confusion and lack of clarity and everything starts to just go out the door. Because I've written down a few bits and pieces, and I don't want to kind of frighten anybody, but you know, they'd be typical of when the third eye is out of balance. We would feel fear. Okay, so when we actually work with the third eye and bring it back into balance, a lot of that fear dissipates. So remember I talked about the base we had, you know, getting rid of the fears. So they're all connected, but they're interconnected. Lack of direction, apathy, ear problems, sinusitis, they would all indicate that third eye could be out of balance. So, you know, we're working with our energy body here. Depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, pain in our back and pain in our legs, paranoia, black and white thinking. And, you know, I can remember a time in my life, and I went to, it was a really difficult time in my life, and I did really have black and white thinking. And even all my dreams were in black and white, and I dream in colour all the time. And I went to a dream analysis workshop, somebody that had come from America. And of course I shared a dream because I really wanted to make sense of it, because it was a reoccurring dream and I was going through a difficult time. But he really pointed out to me about my third eye and my black and white thinking. And I did a lot of work on it at the time, and it changed me and my life, and the pain and everything that I was going through at the time. You know, there was just so much suffering going on in my life, and it just changed it all around by working on my third eye. And it really delved me straight into working with my energy body and my energy centers. So it propelled me into it, and I suppose that's why I'm so passionate about helping others, because, you know, I'm not here to tell you my stories and my yarns, but I am here to tell you that I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I didn't have a road of light that was lit up before me. I had to find it out for myself. But that's why, you know, the angels gave me lighting the way for the name of my company, and that's because I can now bring through the light and shine it on the path for you to find your own way. And that's what the third eye does. It helps you to get in, to help you find what's really right for you. So purpose, passion, all of that is in here. So you could have eye problems, hormonal imbalances, sleep imbalances, stress, headaches, seizures, not finding our purpose, and generally feeling totally out of alignment, wondering what the hell it's all about. You know, is this all there is? Like, what did I come down here to do? To go to work, to pay the bills? All of that, when this is out of balance, is what really comes in here for us. And when it's back in balance, it's just so beautiful, because it's like never working a day in your life again. It's having that feeling of being on purpose and fulfilled. Even if you look at the pyramid of needs that Maslow drew, at the very basic, it was food, warmth, shelter. So it was the physiological needs, and it moved on up to self-esteem, and at the very top, self-actualization. So that's where we're heading to here, bringing ourselves back into balance. So I'm just going to put this aside and see if I have anything else that I want to offer. So I've said it connects the conscious and the unconscious mind, combining logic and emotion. So we talked about that. So a healthy third eye, so a third eye that's in balance, will encourage intuition, empathy of others, and trusting in others, and also trusting in yourself. So it's also where we hold the energy of distrust, and in IET, that's actually what we work with, removing distrust and imprinting the energy of trust. So removing that imprint of distrust that has maybe harbored there for many, many lifetimes, and imprinting in the opposite energy, which is trust. So that's trusting ourselves, trusting in the energy that has created us, trusting in others, trusting in our divinity, really. So what I've said here is, if it's out of balance, we can be tired, we can feel fatigued, sleeping problems, just daydreaming, apathy, lack of assertiveness, lack of concentration, disorientated, and an inability to listen to ourselves or to others. and fantasy world. So if it's overactive, and I'm sure we all know people, and we can look at ourselves, but I'm sure it's easier sometimes to notice outside of us and then look in and say, do I behave like that as well? And I know some people that, you know, would work with different modalities of healing and yoga and all of that, and they might have their third eye chakra overactive because they just float off and live in a complete fantasy and find it really hard to feel grounded on earth. Obviously I know loads of others that are very grounded as well. So yoga, qigong, tai chi, all of these would be really good because movement is necessary as well to keep the energy flowing. So slow movement where you're concentrating and focused, because having the third eye open allows you to feel quite focused in your life as well. So remember, it's the balance, and it brings together the analytical and the creative brain. So that really brings a huge amount of balance, but it allows you to look in. So it's your inner knowing, you know, and we are so innately intelligent that we do not need anybody to tell us how to live our life. So there's a difference, you know, between knowledge and wisdom. And you know, the wisdom is that innate knowing, and this is what I'm really talking about, because we're all wise, you know, and knowledge anyone can learn. Okay, knowledge is stuff we've learned, and you know, yeah, knowledge is important, you know, and it can give us a lot of power and strength at times, but your wisdom that's in there is stronger than knowledge, you know, because knowledge can be somebody else's opinion. It can be just a whole combination of ideas and beliefs that are true and, you know, can become enculturated. So for us, we know what's right for our person, our soul. Remember, we have a soul living inside in this mechanical body. So for us to really utilize everything that we have, it's really important to tap into our innate power and our wisdom. And one way of bringing the unconscious conscious is by cleaning out our third eye. So stargazing, looking at the sun, drinking plenty of water, obviously. Light is really important. And all the things I talked about, you know, having that colour around you, wearing it, eating it, having the crystals, listening to binaural beats, you know, for the different chakras. There's loads of them free on YouTube. There's some beautiful ones for the third eye. I actually fell asleep yesterday listening to one of them, clearing it, because I prep always the day before, and obviously in the morning of when I'm delivering this, I meditate. So a lot of time goes into this, you know, so I'm really delighted that I have a lot of you in here watching with me, and usually a few thousand people get to see the videos. So if you find them helpful, it would be nice for you to put a little comment in and to share them. Maybe if you feel like sharing them, I would be happy. Now I always have a flip chart. I'll just turn it around and show you for a moment. So, you know, I create a flip chart as well so that I can basically reference to it. So to me, my flip chart is kind of just a quick synopsis at the end that I can give you of ways that you can help the particular chakra we're working on. So for today, I've said Ajna, the third eye or the brow, so we can talk about that chakra. So intuition and psychic talents, self-reflection, visualization, discernment, trust in your intuition. So that sense of observation, that sixth sense, and it connects the conscious and the unconscious mind. I am wise and intuitive. That would be one affirmation. You know, I am is like the name of God. So anything that comes after it is really powerful. I am in touch with my inner guidance. Remember we said it's like our inner compass. Oh, thank you, Una. It's like our inner compass that's always there to guide us, because, you know, our life isn't laid out for us like a map, or we're not given a book or a book of instructions of what we should and shouldn't do and how we can live our life. It's kind of a process of experiencing and tuning in and asking ourselves what's right and what feels right for us. You know, I'm sure there are times when people have said to you, oh, I think you should do this and I think you should do that and la la la. and it doesn't feel right for you, that's your intuition telling you that that doesn't suit you. That's not why you came down here. That's not your lesson to learn. It may be that person's lesson. So that's where discernment comes in. So discernment is really in here. Enjoy sunrises and sunsets. I absolutely love sunrises and sunsets. I'm not up early often enough to enjoy too many sunrises. I'd see a few here and there, but I do try to get the sunset, you know. So sunset will also balance the base chakra, remember, because of the red color. Meditation, visualization, all guided imagery. This is all really, really good because you're using your creativity, you're using your imagination. So painting, sculpting, making anything creative, a lovely dish with food, you know, sewing, stitching, do whatever it is, writing, journaling. Oh, journaling is something I forgot to talk about. So journaling would be really, really, really good because you can ask yourself deeper questions. And if you're really up for it, you could write a letter to your guardian angel or to God and say, what should I do about this? And then write the reply and don't think about it, and you get your answer and write it down. That's your third eye. That's your third eye working. That's your intuition giving you the answer. It's in there. It's locked. It can be stuck. So let's unstuck it. Color therapy. And you know, we talked about like, whoo, all the colors of the rainbow. Okay, so it's the oneness. It's everything, you know. So color therapy would be really good. Bringing loads of color into your life. Like I love color myself, anyhow, so thank God. You know, and I'm really into visualization and meditation, and that's all really good for keeping this balanced. I'm always concerned though about keeping myself anchored, because I would have the capability of floating off if I didn't keep myself anchored. Eye rolling exercises. So I haven't talked about that because, you know, your physical eyes can only see so much. Your inner eye sees all. But you need to look after the health of your eyes, and that actually looks after the health of the eye that you can't actually see with your physical eyes, but that is the eye that's looking in all of the time. So, you know, when I talk about eye rolling, it's actually really good for the muscles of our eyes as well, and very good for our eyesight, and to keep our eyesight, you know, in healthy condition for a long time. So it would be like looking to the left, looking up, looking to the right, looking down, and again, nice and slow. So that's eye rolling. So looking down, looking to the left, to the right, looking up, looking down. Like you roll your eyes. So you go left, up, right, down. And you would do that many times. And they're eye rolling. That's very good for the muscle of your eyes. And you know, as we get older, the muscle strength of many of our eyes weaken. And you know, we can become long-sighted or short-sighted and need to wear glasses for different tasks. Creating a dream journal, trusting your inner knowing. We've most of this covered. I'm just giving the synopsis. Read or watch spiritual material if you feel that it's underactive. Okay, so we have so much available to us. As I said, you know, on YouTube there are many beautiful like sound videos that will balance it. There are many people talking about it. Or anything that's really spiritual that connects you back with the divinity that's within you. And then if it's overactive, so if you're floating off, you know, and everything is great, but you don't really think you fit in here on earth as a human being. And, you know, we all know times or people that, you know, that would be correct to say that. I know many people that say, I don't really want to be on earth. I much prefer it when I'm visualizing and meditating. But you know, we don't have the privilege of just sitting on top of a mountain all day long meditating. We actually live here on earth, and we have the physical surroundings, and we have the practicalities of, you know, providing food for ourselves, maybe our kids or grandkids or whatever. And we have many things to do. So we need the balance. So we're talking about balance, remember. So if it's underactive, reading spiritual material, tuning in, visualizing, meditating, discerning, trusting ourselves. And then if it's overactive, okay, so anything that's going to ground you basically. And when we talked about the base chakra, I'd go back down to understanding more about the base chakra. I'd start wearing the color red, I'd walk barefoot, I'd watch the sunsets, I would eat the foods, you know, remember we talked about all the foods that come from the earth, like root vegetables and all of that. Foot massage, walking barefoot, especially outdoors. So if you can connect with Mother Earth itself, walking on the grass or walking on the beach or walking whatever outdoors barefoot, or barefoot indoors if you can't get out, would be good. Reflexology, foot massage, anything that's to do with grounding will actually help you. So obviously there are lots of exercises in yoga and qigong and tai chi and everything that will work on the lower half of the body. So all of those would be really, really important, because movement is important for all of the chakras to keep the energy fluid. Practice mindfulness, so that's bringing ourselves into the present moment. So stillness and silence and all of that is also really, really, really important, because if our mind is chattering, we cannot hear the inner wisdom that's coming to us. So that's why in our dream state, that's why our dream journal is important, because when when we actually go to sleep, we get out of our own road and we're able to make the unconscious conscious, and we can actually journal that, and after a while we start to see messages and a pattern and an understanding, and it just gets deeper and deeper for us. So walking out in nature, obviously, again, is really, really good to balance any of our chakras. It also connects us with all that is and that oneness, and reminds us of the phenomenal beings that we really, really are. Trusting ourselves and practicing empathy. So it's non-judgmental, okay? So when we're empathetic, we're not saying, oh, this is right and that is wrong. So remember we talked about allowing people to have their own inner compass, especially we start with ourselves, but that means then that we don't judge anybody else, because they also have their inner compass, so they know best what's right for them. So that takes us out into the non-judgmental space, which makes life really, really easy. We don't have to really worry about anybody else. We just are concerned about balancing ourselves, trusting our intuition, trusting our inner knowing, discerning and trusting ourselves. Add purple and indigo to your wardrobe, okay? Add it to your foods, add it wherever you can. You know, some people like to put a purple crystal, something nice and small like this, into, you know, glass bottle of water, into a glass of water, and leave it in the sunlight, let it absorb in the light. And you know, those blue indigo bottles, I had a very beautiful teacher called Margaret Desmond in County Cork when I started doing yoga first, and Margaret taught me a lot more than yoga, and she taught everybody in the class, because she sort of dabbled in and out of a lot of bits and pieces. Like, she taught us how to dowse, she taught us how to connect with our inner vision, and one thing she also recommended, and we used to get the I forget what it was now, it was some sort of a liqueur anyway, but I remember there was a local pub that they used to keep the bottles for me. I would think it was Harvey's Bristol Cream actually, but it was like an indigo blue purple bottle, and they were glass, so plastic doesn't do it, glass does. So if you put, you don't even have to put a crystal in, but a crystal will amplify it even more. But if you have that colour glass bottle, actually I think is it Nash's water that also does that colour bottle, and if you put that, fill it with water the night before you go to bed, and if you put that on the window that gets the morning sunlight, that's energized water. Now, it's both good for the third eye and it's good for everything, because it's cleansing. Remember, the third eye brings us clarity when it's working and functioning at optimal level. So there is just so much in all of this. So I'll just finish by saying, I am wise and intuitive. I love that affirmation. I am in touch with my inner guidance. And make up your own. And if you make up a beautiful affirmation, starting with I am, please put it in the comments. It can be really something simple. I am divinely guided. You know, they'll just pour into you, you know. I am one with all. They're coming through, so I don't want to just hog this space here. I would like to hear some of your affirmations, and we'll build on them. So next Friday, I'm going to be working on the crown chakra, and that'll be the 1st of May, actually. It's my birthday on the Thursday, so I'm going to take the day off. And on the 1st of May, I'm also going to do an angel card reading for the month of May. and post it on that day, so I'll be busy. But May is the month, you know, May is the month for Our Lady, and I'm actually planning on spending a lot of time on developing myself in the month of May, because I'm creating material for a few different programs. But there's my new website's going to have a program that's called Magnificent Me, and I can't tell you too much about it, but it is really going to cover a huge amount of material for us to tap into our magnificence, really, because we are all magnificent. I am divinely guided. See you next week, and I would be delighted if you feel that these are of benefit, to tell me maybe yes, you know, that you use them, or maybe you would have tips for us, you know, because we can all work together in one unit, and if we bring all of our wisdoms together, it expands everything for us all. So we're co-creators. That's what I like to think. So have a beautiful week. Bring the indigo color, purple if you have it, navy blue, and just think about indigo. This is actually indigo. It's between navy and purple. And you know, moonstone, as I said, is beautiful. So you might have a bracelet or something that has a bit of moonstone, a ring, amethyst, whatever works for you. Okay, so thank you very much, and have a lovely week. Chat next week.